Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel in Malaysia. Today on the channel we're checking out two of the deranged mutant apes from Kenner's line of Congo movie toys in 1995. Say hello to Mangler and Blastface. Now I also have both of these guys sealed on card so that you guys can take a look at how they originally came like in package. Mangler is described as the fearsome guardian with brute strength. He may be described as a guardian, but in this particular toy line, he's actually the bad guy because the humans are there to kill him. The highlight of the ape action figures in this line is that they both came with glowing eyes and teeth, as described here on the package. The packaging has him in a somewhat action-oriented pose, but the truth is, once you get this thing out of package, this is really the only way that you can pose him in a somewhat attack mode without him falling down, alright? Because the articulation is just really limited. The sculpt work on both of the apes isn't that great, but Mangler is the better of the two, especially with the very detailed work that's been done here on his face. He's got something that looks like a breakout of mutating pimples or boils, something like that. I mean, he just looks hideous. Alright, very terrifying. He doesn't have much in the way of articulation. There's no head articulation, there's no neck joint, nothing like that. He's got cut joints at both of his arms. There's no ball joint articulation. I don't think such a thing was really a thing back in 95. There's one waist joint, so you can turn him at the waist, but yeah, there's really not much else you can do with him. The paint apps are pretty good. He's in basically very monkey-like colors of black, grey, shades of white here and there. Nothing terribly impressive, but it just gets the job done. Now, as I mentioned, this particular pose is the best pose that you can get him in and actually have him stand up, all right, and looking like he's about to just savagely strike somebody. It's important to note that his left hand must always be touching the ground. All right, that's the only thing that's keeping him standing. And if you want to try to get a little bit more creative and have him just raise both arms up like that in a striking position, he ain't gonna stand up for long. Now, you can also have him in a not quite so threatening pose with his arms dangling off to the sides like this, like he's coming at ya slowly. Yeah, you can have him in this pose and he does stand up. But it's important to note that his waist joint has to be positioned just right. If you were to move it ever so slightly, he's going to come tumbling down. That's right, You see how delicate the articulation can be? Now, I gotta say that the glow-in-the-dark effect on Mangler is honestly quite impressive, mainly because it really does stand out. Look at how much this thing just pops. It's bright enough for it to be captured on camera. And there is something effectively eerie about a pair of creepy eyes and snarling teeth just watching you in the dark. Next, we have Blastface, mutant fury with vicious fangs. No guardian status on this guy. I've mentioned this before probably, but I really don't like it whenever we get action figures that are sealed on card and the plastic is just sealed tightly around the edges of the figure like what you see here. It's just a really bad way to present the figure, I always feel. And also, it's really impossible to store these well, especially if you're laying them flat and with one figure on top of the other. Now, Blastface is a victim of intense violence, as you can see here. His right eye has been blown out by a grenade or a bullet or something like that. But the paintwork here looks pretty bad. It looks like a kid went crazy with a crayon and applied this paint job here. Really not that impressive, but you do get to see a lot of pretty gory bits of, eye matter, I suppose, just spread all around the head sculpt. On the left side of the figure, he actually looks a lot better. Overall, he's got some pretty nice detailing, not at all different from what Mangler looked like. The same amount of articulation, sadly, cut joints on both arms, and also at the waist. Alright, so you pretty much know what to expect with these two apes from Congo. Now, you do get a pretty decent range of motion, of course, but posing this guy, basically he's stuck in just one particular pose, and always make sure that his right arm is touching the ground. All right, if you want him to stand up, that's the way you got to pose him, okay, with his right arm touching the ground. And if you do want to get a bit creative with him, sort of like, if you kind of like want to have both of his arms raised up, in a more dynamic, striking action position like we tried with Mangler, well, it's not going to hold up. Now, interestingly, if you look at the cross-sell photos on the packaging cards for some of the Congo toys, you see that Blastface was initially also known as Skinhead. Yeah. But then, on some of the other packages, he's retitled as Blastface. So, yeah, I guess there was just no way. Probably at one point they thought they were going to call him Skinhead. But I guess Kenner decided there's no way they could apply the term Skinhead to a child's toy. Now, similar to Mangler, the glow-in-the-dark effect on Blastface is very effective, and as you can see, it's also accurate because only one of his eyes is glowing. The other eye has been blasted away. Not even the hollowed-out remains can glow. But yeah, this thing does look very effective, very chilling. I am impressed with the glow-in-the-dark feature on both of these apes. Doing a size comparison with both of the apes alongside one of the human figures from the Congo line, here we have them with Monroe. Now the apes do scale up pretty well, but I kind of do wish that they did look a little bit bigger. Still, I suppose, this is what we're getting for the size and scale of this line. And they do look pretty good on display like this. And I'm pretty sure that even though they're not as big as the humans, they can still pretty much take them down, right? They can still take down the human intruders. Yeah. Hey guys, guys, wait, it's just a photo shoot. No. And then we have the apes from the Congo alongside one of Kenner's other 5-inch scale figures from the 90s, the Predator. And this is the Renegade Predator right here. And the scale looks great. They look great alongside each other. And you know what? Congo and Predator would be a perfect crossover because the Predators do hunt in the Congo. So yeah, you can mix and match up the genres and the crossovers. You can pull out any kind of fantasy scenario you want with these kind of figures. So that's the review, guys. That's my look at Blastface and Mangler from Kenner's Congo line of movie toys in 1995. Let me know what you guys think of these in the comment section below. Thanks for joining me as always, and I'll catch you guys again real soon with more content. Thank you and take care.